Hi everyone, welcome to our video today. We are so excited to have you join us as we discuss some of our favorite cooking experiences and tips. Let's dive right in. I recently faced a bit of a challenge when I was preparing a French onion soup for a community potluck. I realized I was out of French baguettes, which are essential for this dish. For those unfamiliar, French onion soup is a rich and savory broth topped with toasted baguette slices and melted cheese. The occasion was our annual fall potluck, and I wanted to bring something warm and comforting. French baguettes are long, thin loaves of bread with a crispy crust and soft interior. They're perfect for everything from sandwiches to bruschetta, and they're quite popular here in Washington due to our love for fresh, artisanal bread. Faced with this shortage, I had to think outside the box. Instead of substituting with another type of bread, I decided to make my own baguettes from scratch. I had some yeast, flour, and salt on hand, so I quickly mixed up the dough, let it rise, and baked the loaves. It was quite an adventure, but the end result was delicious and added a special homemade touch to the dish. The fresh, warm baguettes were a hit, and I was glad I took the extra effort.
Wow, Emily, that's impressive. Making baguettes from scratch is no small feat. I love how you took the initiative to create your own instead of compromising the dish's integrity. Your dedication is truly inspiring.
I agree, Sarah. Emily, your story reminds me of the time I had to improvise with cream cheese. It's amazing how these challenges push us to be more creative in the kitchen. I'm sure your homemade baguettes were a delightful surprise for everyone at the potluck.
Emily, that's incredible. I can only imagine the wonderful aroma of freshly baked baguettes filling your kitchen. It's these kinds of experiences that make cooking so rewarding. Our community is lucky to have someone as resourceful as you.
I love it, Emily. There is something so satisfying about baking your own bread, especially under pressure. It shows your passion for cooking and your commitment to quality. I bet the texture and flavor of your homemade baguettes were fantastic.
Following up on what Emily did, when I buy French baguettes, I always look for freshness. Freshly baked baguettes have a distinct crispiness on the outside and a soft, airy interior. Here in Florida, I usually get them early in the morning from local bakeries, especially when preparing the sandwiches for our beach picnics. Freshness is key to that perfect bite.
I completely agree, Maya. Freshness is crucial. For me, it's all about the ingredients. I prefer baguettes made with organic flour and no preservatives. In California, we have access to great organic bakeries, and I use these baguettes for everything from bruschetta to garlic bread. The quality of the ingredients really shines through in the flavor and texture.
Those are great points, Sarah and Maya. Another thing I look for is the crust. A good French baguette should have a golden, brown, crispy crust. In Texas, we love pairing them with hearty dishes like barbecue brisket sandwiches. The crust adds a wonderful contrast to the tender meat. Always check for well-baked crust to ensure the best eating experience.
I'm with you all on these points. Additionally, I consider the length and shape. The classic long, slender shape of a baguette makes it perfect for slicing and serving. In New York, baguettes are a staple for our charcuterie boards during gatherings. The shape and size ensure that each slice is uniform and easy to handle, adding to the overall presentation.
Those are fantastic criteria for me. Texture is very important. The inside should be dairy with just the right amount of chewiness. Here in Washington, I often make French toast with leftover baguettes. The texture really makes a difference in soaking out the egg mixture while maintaining a nice bite. Look for baguettes with a good balance of crustiness and a tender crumb.
When it comes to alternatives, I often use sourdough bread, especially here in California, where it's a local favorite. Sourdough has a similar crusty exterior and a slightly tangy flavor that adds depth to dishes like bruschetta. I've had great success using it in place of baguettes.
In Texas, we sometimes use bolillos, which are Mexican rolls. They have a soft interior and a crispy crust, similar to baguettes. They're perfect for making tortas or even serving with soup. Bolillos have a distinct flavor that complements many dishes well.
Down here in Florida, Cuban bread is a fantastic alternative. It's lighter and a bit fluffier than a French baguette but still has that nice crust. I've used it for everything from sandwiches to French toast. The subtle sweetness of Cuban bread pairs wonderfully with many recipes.
In New York, I often use ciabatta bread as a substitute. It's airy and has a nice crust, making it versatile for various dishes. I love using ciabatta for panini, or even as a base for bruschetta. Its texture and flavor are quite similar to baguettes, making it a reliable alternative.
In Washington, we have access to some great artisanal breads, and I often use a good whole grain loaf as an alternative. It adds a bit more texture and a nutty flavor that works well in many recipes. Whole grain bread is also a bit heartier, making it perfect for soups and stews. To wrap up, we've had a wonderful discussion about French baguettes. I shared my experience with making homemade baguettes due to a shortage, and we explored the critical criteria for purchasing baguettes like freshness, ingredients, crust, shape, and texture. We also discussed various alternatives like sourdough, bolillos, Cuban bread, ciabatta, and whole grain loaves. Thank you, everyone, for your insightful contributions. Thank you all for watching. We hope you found our conversation helpful and inspiring. See you next time.